Seriously, how great was that game? Yeah, let me know. It looks like the tweet went out, so I guess it's been shared now on all the channels. We'll see if anybody jumps in. I don't do this much, but we can certainly do it tonight because I know I am unusually awake after 9 p.m., and I'm sure many of you are as well. So comments, opinions, questions, otherwise, Will Bednar was absolutely on fire. It could not really have been a better outing for him. Cody is in on Facebook. The first to comment said, never a doubt. You really mean that, Cody? Jonathan, next up on Facebook, says, Hail State from Omaha. Jonathan, what's it like out there, huh? How was the ball game? What was the stadium like? Let me know. Anna, goodness gracious, my nerves. Hashtag Hail State. I'll be honest with you, I stood up. I'm in my living room, and I stood up for that bottom of the ninth, which was hairy, to say the least. Steve says, Hail State. Corey's on YouTube says, incredible outing by Bednar. We're going to get to that. What was the final line for Bednar? 15 strikeouts? 15 strikeouts of the 21 batters that he faced. Walk one hit, no ground ball outs, 3 flyouts, threw 108 pitches, and 65 of those were strikes. Just absolutely unbelievable. Joy said, goodness gracious, history made, Hail State. Daniel, Bednar showed so much maturity. I mean, just he dominated the ball game. But the thing about it is they were good too on the other side, right? It's a 2-1 ball game. Texas is really good, and you may have to face them again. Terry says, hey, Matt, from Star, Mississippi, what a game. That's like identical, exactly what I texted a buddy of mine. What a game. Delta Girl on Periscope, so proud of Bednar, what we needed early. You had to have that. We'll get into it. I mean, the ways that they figure out ways to win. If you look at regional, super regional, they didn't win with dominant starting pitching. They come to Omaha, knock off the highest seed in Omaha. Even though Vandy's the best team, they knock off the highest seed, Texas, in Omaha, with dominant starting pitching. They find new ways to win. Owen, tried giving Texas the game. Wow. Yeah, I didn't have a problem with the strike calls at the end. I honestly didn't. Okay, I'm getting out of order. This thing jumps around on me sometimes, and so many of y'all are commenting at once. I'm going to go fast here. Greg, great game all the way around. Why are you the visiting team? State was the visiting team because Texas was the higher seed in the matchup. There are 2. State was a 7. Dorothy was on pins and needles. Mason, wow, what a game. Jim, you're right. Great pitching by both teams. Brad, Hail State. Whew. Wayman, Bednar celebrated Father's Day by being Texas's daddy. Thank you very much, Wayman. Lynn, so much fun to watch after it was over. After it was over, you're going to go back and watch it again? That's not one of those games you go back and watch again, is it? I mean, what are you going to do? Swing and a miss, swing and a miss, swing and a miss. Shane chewed his fingernails off. Might want to get that scene about Shane. Speaking of, Corey said that last inning was a nail biter, though. I mean, it really was. And it just shows you how good Texas is, really, how good everybody is in Omaha. Eric, great to see you again, Matt. Missed your brother. Hope to see these more often as football season gets closer. Yeah, we'll do some more of these. And a lot more people are actually sitting around on your phone. You get a notification pops up at night, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, as opposed to when we do the radio show in the middle of the day. And we still do a pretty good audience online, but mostly on the radio during the middle of the day, lunchtime, because everybody else is either not on their phones or working. Rick, great performance by Bednar. I mean, it was fantastic. Christy, pacing, popping Rolaids during the 9th inning. Anna was pacing. Caleb on YouTube, I felt like throwing up the last 3 innings. Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking. Shows you why it's different for us. Oh, by the way, you see how much condensation is on my water bottle? Can y'all see that? You know the reason for that? There's no air conditioning going on on the second floor of this building. It's hot in here. I got one fan, so may sweat. We'll see. The bottom floor is air conditioned, and I was sweating it during that ninth inning. Cody stood for 3.5 hours, no lie. Elizabeth, my blood pressure is still not back down to normal. We always stand up for the last out. Hail State. Well, you, like me, you stood up for a little while there at the end until it happened. Nate, I'd expected to get frustrated and have to watch from the ESPN app, just being honest. You talking about the ball game? Gutsy is a great word, Trey, to describe it. Scotty Sims has to make it interesting. And look, they put the bat on the ball. That's what it is. Bob, good point. Cumbus comes through. Took one big hit, a walk, a single, line drive. Probably, one of the harder hit balls tonight was for Hancock, moving over to third, and then the triple. Let's see. Somebody on Periscope wants to know if Yancey is up watching. Maybe. There's a lot of people watching right now. And let's see. Let me get some names in here. Alton on YouTube. Well, let me bring this back down. On Facebook, Kenny and Brian and Peyton and Russ and Nicholas and Jeff and Owen. Everybody. Good to see y'all. Kyle, what do you say here? Kyle says, Matt, I loved your post about the time and your dad and the Virginia dad getting the ball. Appreciate that kind of stuff. Yeah, Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. I had one of the best. Have one of the best, for sure. Scooter on Periscope. This team has a calm confidence that I think even the announcers and viewers recognize. They did point that out, didn't they? Having fun throughout the game. Didn't seem to be, white-knuckled and bearing down in the dugout. They seem to be really cool, calm, and collected. Hey, why don't we do this? Let's look at some of the stats in the game. Y'all want to do that? We'll look at it together here and see what we can see in the box score. All right, so y'all can see kind of what I'm highlighting. These are your visiting stats. So this is State. It looks like Rowdy led State in the leadoff spot with 2 hits. He's 2 for 4 in a ball game. Tanner put the bat on the ball all 4 times, did not strike out. Was only up there once with guys on base, but went 0 for 4. And how about that? Isn't it something when you go 0 for 4 and it brings your average down to 386? But, again, production in the top 4 of the lineup. And, James had a hit in the ball game that they were able to get out of it. Did have a couple strikeouts, but he scored a very important run, drawing that walk in that inning where then Hancock moves him around. And then, of course, the big hit there by Cumbus that scored the runner from first base. A triple. Was that 2 outs? I'd have to go back and look. And then there are your pitching numbers at the bottom. Like we said, for Bednar, he's 8-1 on the year. So he threw 6 innings, went back out in the 7th, and then didn't get an out, as we know. But 6 innings, faced 21 batters, struck out 15 of those. And that's what is interesting, and all those strikeouts and no ground ball outs. Sims faced 12 batters, struck out half of them, gave up the 1 run on a home run, and also gave up 3 hits and got some ground ball outs. So those ground ball outs came when he got in there. Let's look at Texas, what they were able to do. This is one thing I was looking at for Texas. Of course, the strikeouts piled up. By the end of the ball game, you see that their production came in the top 4 of their lineup. The 1 run from on the 1 hit, the home run of the leadoff hitter there, but that was after Bednar left the game. This would look a lot different, obviously, if this was pre-Bednar, but this is the box score for the whole game. And so, 3 of their 4 hits came in the top 4 of the lineup. But even in those top 4, spots 1 through 4, they combined for 8 strikeouts. But this is what really jumps out at me, is just how dominant State was against the bottom of their lineup. From, let's see, because isn't that pinch runner? Yeah, so 6, 7, 8. Wait, let's see. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So 5 through 9. They combined to go 1 for 16 with 13 strikeouts. Went 1 for 16 with 13 strikeouts in the bottom half of their lineup. They just got nothing out of them, and that's why State's able to win a 2-1 ball game. You know, and in a low-scoring game like this, when you look at the comparison, there's really not a lot to compare. But here you can see this. So State struck out 12 times. 2 of them were looking. Texas strikes out 21 times. 6 of those were looking. You know, neither team overall hit the ball that well against the other. They were identical with 2 outs. Both teams were 2 for 11, batting 182 with 2 outs. State got 1 more hit with runners on base, and that's the difference in a 1-run ball game. How about that? Both teams identical, went 3 for 9 from the leadoff spot. And, of course, theirs a little different in that one of their leadoff hits scored a run because of the home run. And then the other difference in the game, State got 2 opportunities with a runner on third, less than 2 outs. And one of those is a hit. So that stat, runners on third, less than 2 outs, State got a hit in 2 opportunities. That and the fact that State was, 1 percentage point better with runners on base and moving a runner over just a time or 2. That's the difference in the ball game in a 2-1 ball game right there. Now let's look at this. So you may be curious. Let's see the schedule. All right. So the bracket, here's what it looks like. Let's see. Here we go. All right. So this is that side of the bracket, how, NC State advanced, Vandy advanced. So you've got this game. It's going to happen tomorrow, right? What's today, the 20th? So this one happened tomorrow. That says 6 p.m. Wouldn't that be Eastern time, though? Maybe it is Central. I don't know. I was thinking that it's 7 Eastern. Y'all have to check the time on that. But that's your game tomorrow night. Your afternoon game is tomorrow. These are Central times for whatever reason. Okay, so 1 o'clock Central elimination game tomorrow, Stanford, Arizona. All right. And then tomorrow night, 6 o'clock Central, the winner's bracket game, NC State, Vanderbilt. The winner of that one moves to Friday. Okay, so they're 2-0. Winner of this one moves. Isn't it Friday? Winner of this elimination game moves in here and will play the loser of NC State, Vanderbilt in an elimination game here. And then that'll send you over to this still double elimination matchup. So you have a 2-0 team versus a team with 1 loss. If the 1-loss team wins here, it sends it to that necessary, if necessary game. So it's identical for State. State moves into a winner's bracket game with Virginia. I'd imagine State will be the home team, 6 o'clock on Tuesday. All right, earlier Tuesday at 1 o'clock, it's going to be Texas and Tennessee in an elimination game. Loser goes home, winner moves over here and awaits the loser of Mississippi State, Virginia. And it's my understanding, right? If State wins against Virginia, they jump 2-0 all the way over to Friday. Isn't it Friday? I think I've got a bracket here that'll put this up for us. Let's see. Yeah, it's actually got the dates on it. So let's see here. Okay, Zach. So, but why would State be the road team against Virginia? Really? So they'll be the visitor against Virginia. Why, I wonder? I don't know. Okay. But let's look at it this way. All right. So this is Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, State versus Virginia. The winner advances to Friday, 6 p.m. game on Friday, where they'll have to win 1 game, right? Isn't that right? Yep. They have to win 1 game. Earlier Tuesday, it's going to be both UTs, Tennessee and Texas, elimination game. Loser goes home. Winner moves here to await the loser of State, Virginia. That'll be a elimination game, and the winner of that one moves here and will face the winner. So lots of scenarios, but, if State were to beat Virginia, they go straight to Friday night, and then Virginia would play, the winner of these 2, and winner of that one comes in to play State. And so down here you'd have a 1-loss team. State would be 2-0, would just have to win 1 game to get over here in the finals. if the one-lost team beats the undefeated team on Friday, you play another one. That's the if necessary game here, and loser goes home, winner moves on. And that would be potentially Saturday if you need it. So basically the way this looks is, you play on Tuesday if you're Mississippi State. If you lose, you play Thursday an elimination game. If you win, you play Friday with a chance to advance to the championship and potentially play a Saturday game also. That makes some sense there? All right. Any questions on that box score? I can pull the box up if there was anything in there y'all wanted to look at. I can pull it up so that you could see it. Tuesday at 6 versus Virginia. Whoa on Facebook because both teams were visitors first game. So it goes to a coin flip. I see. So they're trying to do it as fair as possible. So first rounds are higher. The better seed gets to be the home team. Second round, if it's, both team were visitors or both team were home, you're going to flip that coin. Okay. Seems like they could just stick with the seeding if they wanted to. I don't know why they wouldn't, but there you go. All right, so coin flip decides it. Instead of be a visitor. Brent on Periscope said, Tennessee versus Texas, the ultimate nothing sucks like a big orange game. Well, and the thing about that is, you're going to have to play them potentially, right? You're going to play somebody. It'll be matching up against let me think, win or lose. I guess it's possible if State were to beat Virginia Tuesday, they'd come back and have to play Virginia again on the weekend and never face Texas or Tennessee. But it's very possible you could have to face Texas again. You could have to face Tennessee. Just depends on who comes out of that losers bracket. If State goes in it, if State loses to Virginia, then you're obviously definitely playing either Texas or Tennessee in an elimination game. So you could wind up facing them all over again. Let's see. Somebody's explaining to me. It says, if you did the seeding, do you seed the team that won or the team that was beaten? No, I'm saying just like the overall seeding, so let's just say State and Virginia are meeting each other in this game. Well, Virginia was a 3 seed in a regional. State was a 1 seed, and so they would be the home team because they're the higher seed. That's the way they decided the first round anyway. But, and Bob says it's really stupid. Seeded versus unseeded should carry the day in home visitors. Silly situation. That's kind of what I think, but hey, there you go. Kirk with a prediction that Tennessee will put Texas out of it. Zach, just the opposite. Zach says, I have a feeling that we're going to see Texas again. Woe said, did y'all see Tyler Horker's tweet, him at the game with his Longhorn gear on? I guess he can do that, right? Like he's not covering either of those teams anymore. He's now covering Notre Dame. So people can wear whatever they want to. Just a couple quick thoughts from me on this. Not that that's why you tuned in here, but this team, like we said, they just figure out new and different ways to just figure it out. They figure out a way to win. They battle, right? And low-scoring game, win a one-run game with dominant pitching, win a high-scoring game by hitting home runs at home against a team that can really hit in Notre Dame. They've found ways to win when they had to in a multitude of different ways throughout the year. It's just like I said, you look in the postseason, nobody coming into the College World Series would have said, well, State's going to win a game because of dominant starting pitching. Well, you look, Bednar's a projected first rounder in everybody's mock draft. Just a couple of days ago, the guy at ESPN had him at, I think, 24, going 24th in the first round to Atlanta. So he's a projected first rounder. But you look at regional, super regional, it wasn't like he went out there and struck out double digits in those starts and just mowed everybody down and was dominant. And then he comes in here against the number 2 national seed, Texas in Omaha, and just mows them down. The other thing, though, is this sort of holds true in one thing that you sort of have noticed, not exclusively, but for the most part throughout the year, and that is like McLeod and Bednar seem to be a little better away from Dudy Noble Field this year. I felt like one of Bednar's best outings, and certainly I think one of his most important outings as it pertained to, seeding the postseason season, was the win that he was able to get for State at Vanderbilt. They didn't win the series, but they picked up that win in game 2, and it was in large part because he went out and was really good at Vanderbilt in Nashville. And, after getting swept at home by Arkansas, making sure you didn't get swept on the road to Vanderbilt was big in terms of RPI and resume and all that kind of stuff. But, and maybe McLeod, same way. You look at his outing against Alabama. You look at his outing against South Carolina. Had a pretty decent outing also even, at Vanderbilt this year. And then he's been a little better at times away from Dudy Noble than, at home. So you get another good one out of him and figure out a way to put the bat on the ball against Virginia's number 2. And Virginia is good. They prove that. They're good. State's got an excellent chance against Virginia on Tuesday night for sure. Woe says, if only our freshman shortstop could hit just a little. Yeah, I mean, you saw 2 freshmen tonight at 8 and 9 in your lineup in Kellum Clark and Forsyth, Lane Forsyth. They combined 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts. Am I looking at that right? Yeah. Yeah, 0 for 6, 5 strikeouts. That's just, I think they're both going to hit. Good and well, Kellum Clark's going to hit. Even though he's a freshman DH batting 8th in the lineup, anybody that has watched any film of him knows a ball jumps off his bat, and you watch how they're pitching him. They're staying away and some off speed. They're not just pounding fastballs like they are to Forsyth, because they know Clark will turn one around real quick if you make a mistake. But they'll hit. They're just freshmen. That's kind of the way it looks. And see, Jay says the moment seems a little big for Kellum Clark right now. And I don't know that that's the case, really. It doesn't look to me that way, like the moment's too big for him. He did put the bat on the ball once in the ball game. But I just think it's seeing all this stuff for the first time. The way that they're going to scout you, and then you go into the game against a guy who's going to get $1 million, several $1 million next month, who's throwing 96, and he's got good off speed, and you're seeing some of that stuff for the first time, and you're trying to, when you see it for the first time, you're trying to pick out pitches and guess pitches and account, and there ain't a whole lot of experience backing that up. And just to put it this way, like in terms of guessing right on what he's going to throw you, off speed, breaking ball, in, out, up, down, I guarantee you Rowdy, well, you can see the numbers. Guys like Rowdy and Tanner Allen are right a whole lot about guessing on a pitch and where it's coming and what's coming. They're right a whole lot because they've got all that experience to know what they're about to see. And, freshmen are freshmen for a reason. And not all freshmen are that way. Some are really good. You look at Gonzalez at Ole Miss and others. But that's what I see. They're going to hit. They'll be just fine. Woe said McLeod's due for a good outing. Brent says there are no freshmen this time of year. That's a little bit of a silly take. I disagree with it. I don't care how, you say, well, there are no freshmen. They got a certain number of at-bats and their first year in college baseball. And the reason you're calling them freshmen is because the other guys who've done it for 3 years and some for 4, but 2 years and 3 years, they've got double and triple the at-bats. And experience means a lot. Anybody who's ever played any ball knows how valuable the experience is, and that's why it's a thing. For some, not all, but for some. Yeah, I noticed that, Kirk. He didn't want to come out. You could almost read his lips. He was like, come on, coach. But I think he knew. And they managed it really well. And that's a really good point, too, Will, talking about freshmen. He says, no freshman seen what Ty Madden was throwing tonight. I mean, he's really, really good. What was his final line? Let's see. Ty Madden's final line for Texas. Look down here at the bottom. Let me get this off the screen here. So Madden, 7 innings, 2 runs on 4 hits, struck out 10 of the 26 that he faced, 2 walks. The 1 triple is the only extra base hit out of the 4 that he gave up, right? And 6 flyouts, 3 ground ball outs. Threw 105 pitches, 64 of those strikes. And that was really the only difference between he and a Bednar was that he had the 2 walks. He was a little bit out of the zone, like missed a few more spots. Velocity was through the roof, 96, 97 whenever he wanted it. Yeah, he's really, really good. Now, here's a guy who played the game at a very high level and has played in Omaha. Brooks Bryan says, experience means a lot. You're exactly right, Matt. Unbelievable performance out of Bednar and Sims. Also, Madden was awesome as well, and that leadoff walk killed him. All right, so I'm going to go back and look at that sequence for us here in the plays. State scored those runs in the 2nd inning. So let's go back to the 2nd inning here, top of the 2nd. So it was, well, that's 2nd inning. No, it's not 2nd inning. It's 4th inning. Why did I say 2nd? It's 4th inning. Yeah, so you come back in the 4th. He'd mowed everybody down, and you get this leadoff walk. And followed by the Hancock single. And that was a rope. It was good to see Hancock step up there, his 2nd time through, to see him and get a fastball and just hammer it out in the right field, and moves the run over to 3rd. You know, and then you're thinking right here with Logan Tanner up there, I mean, he's a big hit guy, leads you in home runs. You're thinking, no, don't hit in a double play because he's hit you in the most double plays of anybody in your lineup. And the strikeout, yeah, it's unfortunate because you wanted to see the fly ball at least and score him in that situation from 3rd. But when he struck out, you're like, okay, well, at least that's the first out. You stay out of a double play. Now we got another chance to, to get it done. And that's exactly what happened. Is DeBrule, to his credit, I thought he had some really good at-bats tonight. I don't know about y'all, but especially this one. Step up there, hit it deep enough to center field to score the run and take that early lead. And the way Bednar was pitching, you could already see it there in the 4th. You felt like once James scored right here, you're up 1-0. That was a big, big run, right? And then the triple. Wind seemed to really affect it, like it was swirling around. You couldn't tell if it was going to be foul or what, but then, it hops around in there, and he runs really well. Hancock scores all the way from 1st, and it's a triple. Yeah, so that's the way it happened. That was the sequence there in the 4th inning. Those are your 2 runs in the ball game. And like I said, you go back and you win it because of pitching. Finding new ways to win. But that guy right there was fantastic. Scotty was a big key to the ball game. What did he wind up here? DeBrule. See, that's it. He drove in the run, drew a walk, had the 1 sacrifice fly, which that was the first run of the game for DeBrule as he drove that in. And like I say, the way Bednar was throwing, you just felt like, man, 1 run feels like about 4. And it pretty much stood up, until the 9th inning, that 1 swing. All right. I don't think there's really anything else to point out. Let's see if it has an attendance on here real quick in these notes. Yeah. How about this? You had 23,885 listed as the official attendance. And the game took 2 hours and 45 minutes because of all the strikeouts. That's we'll take it. We will take those short ball games like that for sure. Let's see, Robert. What are y'all talking about? Says no, he'll be ready. You can't keep a winner down. Who are you talking about? Sims? Okay, so Woe said y'all think Sims is done for Tuesday. And my man, Robert Carolla from Farm Bureau Insurance, Grenada, Mississippi, says no, he will be ready. You can't keep a winner down. I think he might be ready to come back and throw on Tuesday. It'd be about like throwing on Friday, coming back and throwing on Sunday. And then, I don't know. That's a good question. How many pitches did he throw tonight? Let's see here. Visitor stats. I think we looked at it a while ago. Sims threw He threw 52 pitches, 35 strikes. I don't know. So 52 pitches in 3 innings. I'm not sure if that eliminates him or not. You know what? I kind of, just a gut feeling right here. It's a situational thing, Robert, but Aaron says he didn't throw that many last Friday when he came back and pitched again. Yeah. Good point right there by Alton on YouTube. Says 3 runs with the wind blowing out center field. Incredible job by both pitching staffs, and it really was. Caleb saying he could throw 1 inning on Tuesday if they needed him to. I tell you, I was a little perturbed. Somebody was talking about TV. I was a little perturbed at the beginning of that game how insistent they were on talking about Texas's assistant coach, Tulowitzki, who was a great player in the major leagues. But, you know, it's like it took Bednar to 10, 11 strikeouts before they realized that, hey, we got to flip the switch and talk about this kid, you know. Started getting frustrated with that. Yeah, you know, what I was going to say about Sims, and then we'll just wrap it up with that. It just seems to me like as though he throws 52 pitches tonight. You know, it'd be like going Friday, coming back on a Sunday. And in this case, the Tuesday night deal is if you've got a lead with, you know, 4 outs left, maybe 5, certainly 3 outs left, and you have a lead, it's a Tuesday night. And if you win that, if he comes in and gets you 3 outs, 4 outs, 5 outs, you win it. You're not playing again until Friday. You could possibly do it. You know, it's just going to be a situational thing, I guess. You know, it's just because of the time frame. Again, it'd be like throwing him 52 pitches on a Friday, coming back on a Sunday. You would prefer to not throw him, win that game, and then he's all rested up for the following, what's going to be Friday, you know, pitch from Sunday to Friday. But I think he can do it if they need him to, but you would prefer to rest him if you could. All right. I thought we'd jump in here and take a look, maybe looking at some of the stats and everything. I think tomorrow's radio show is going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, to everybody that tuned in, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, good job. Y'all pulled them through tonight. 2-1 the final. Mississippi State wins. Moves on to Tuesday. See you tomorrow on the radio, y'all.